Hello everyone, how y'all doing out there? Today we are back at Sawmill Run, down close to the Otter Creek campground. First thing we're going to do today is hike the whole way up to the cave that I promised to show everybody last time I was here, but I had some technical difficulties. And once we get there, we're going to have lunch. And I'm going to draw a little map of the cave. Then we're going to continue on down the sawmill until we hit the property boundary. Then we're going to look for more caves. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, all right? Let's get started. And we made it to Furnace Run. Coming in here, if you're heading upstream, it comes in off to the left. And you'll know that because there's this big old ugly culvert here. That's heading back towards the river. A couple hundred feet down here is where the cave is. But I'm not hungry, and I'm not really in the mood right now to just sit down and do filming inside the cave. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do this part of our trip first. We're gonna head up here and we're gonna look for caves and cliffs and stuff first. Then we're gonna come back, and by then we should have worked up a good appetite. We'll cross there and we'll head up into the cave. And when I do that, I'll point out exactly where it is. So if any of you guys wanna come here and hang out at that cave yourself, you'll be able to find it, all right? I think the trail actually continues up that way though. That's the way we went in that previous episode. I don't think this is the Mason-Dixon trail, but that's where we're gonna go, keeping our eyes on the ridges as we do. There is this trail here, cuts across the stream and goes up there. So I'm kind of torn as to what to do. Should we go that way or this way? We're still gonna be following the stream no matter what we do. But perhaps the bigger outcrops are gonna be on this side? Not sure about that. Let's go this way. I'm seeing some cliffs already right up there. It's not that far up to the boundary, like a third of a mile. So we don't have to do a lot of hiking. I'm just hoping that there's a lot of, you know, good outcrops and overhangs and stuff. And it looks like we got one right there, so let's go check that out first. Might have something up on that side too. This is definitely looking pretty good here. I think this is the metabasalt. It certainly looks like it. Oh, whoa, whoa, jeez. Got some hangers there. Let's get this stuff down so it doesn't fall on us. What is that? Hello, Mr. Deer. I found you on the ground. It looks like it's meant to be. Yeah. Stick it in there. My hunting people. What is this? And why would it be here? Obviously the scale here is small, but it looks like the metabasalt type of process. This one too kind of strikes me as one of those. And you can see that joint or whatever that is. That's helping to form it too. Let's go check out that one next. What have we here? Nah. I'm not really seeing much. Those are more like overhang shelter caves. Let's head back down the stream level. Kind of a trail here, but not really. That's okay. I don't need no stinking trail. Real quick peek here. No. Stuff is definitely starting to come out in terms of the foliage. If you're new to the channel, one of the reasons we're doing this now is because the leaves are not out, and that provides us with a clearer view of the rocks. Got a little waterfall here. You see this rock right here? Does this thing strike you as being out of place? As you look at the rocks here, they all kind of have a feel, you know? Angular, thin pieces breaking off. I mean, you know the deal, right? And then you come and you see this, and to me that looks out of place because it's rounded. It's well rounded as compared to everything else we see. It's not perfectly rounded like a big cobble in the river, but it's more smooth than everything else. Interesting. Something green popping up out of the ground right here. What is that? Is it that skunk cabbage? That looks like an overhang, but let's go check it just in case. Let's take a closer look here. Looks like the groundhogs are having their way with this sucker. Nice little habitat here. Spirits of the woodlands, I beseech thee, bestow upon us something interesting. We hit the private property boundary. Very clearly runs right up here, runs up the ridge in a series of posted signs. I'm pretty sure if you were to walk up this ridge and then over that way, you're still in the game land property. But because we're interested in stuff that's mostly probably going to be closer down to stream level, we're not going to do that. Doesn't really seem to be much up here, which is not surprising. You know how these streams down in the lower Susquehanna, as they get closer to the river, they get steeper, and you get more relief, you get more cliffs, you get more caves. And as you go upstream, the ridges get progressively lower, and I think in general that just means you have less outcrops, less opportunity to find stuff. And you can see there's a house right there. It's like a sharp like this that cuts into the ridge here. If you were to go up and around the property, you could eventually come back down to stream level up there, but then from that spot it's a very short distance until you hit another boundary which goes back up the ridge towards Otter Creek, which is the next creek up there. So why don't we scurry back up here to the road and then head back down to Furnace Run, and we can look at the ridge on this side while we do that. All right, slight change of plans. What I want to do now is I want to go up Furnace Run a little bit, because I know there is at least one cave up there that we didn't actually take a peek inside when we were here with Lewis and Cole last time. And I want to get an interior shot of that, and also maybe just poke around a little bit up here, because I do remember there being some pretty high outcrops that we did not hit in those episodes. And then after that, we'll go back and we'll fire up the stove and have a nice beef stew with garlic crostini for lunch. There's a nice one right there. I do remember that one. And we're already here. That didn't take that long. And I remember there was this kind of rocky peninsula that jutted out. And the cave we're going to check out is right there. But I also wanted to look up in here a little bit. And let's get the light out. Oh, there's something back there. Hold on. Let's do a little probe here. You guys see anything back there? Be a very spacious residence for a groundhog or a small woodland creature. That's about it. There is something here that looks bigger though. You see that little triangle thing there? You can see this big cleft here. Let's see if I can get down here a little bit. Looks like a crawlway. I'm just gonna poke my head in there just a little bit. It does kind of look like it goes maybe around the corner a little bit. But I think it ends up there. Probably about a 10 or a 15-foot crawlway. I don't know if it's a crack cave or a washout. It kind of looks like a washout to me. If I ever come back here when I'm not alone, I'd like to poke my head down there a little bit further. But I don't want to crawl back there when I'm by myself. The reason we look at stuff like this, even though this maybe is not a washout cave, although it could be, you know, it's at the right level, but it could just be a slumping crack cave. But the reason we look is because it could go back there 10, 15, turn a corner, and there could be more there that you just can't see from the outside. And sometimes if you just peek around a corner, you know, you can get a payoff and find something. Yeah, it should be right here, I think. Out. Yep, there it is. Hey, there's my crostini, which is just old garlic bread, basically, right? We're gonna eat that back at the big cave. Let me change battery, get a drink of water. Getting a little dirty there. That's okay, right? This one is definitely, I think, just a shatter cave, just created by the movement of these huge blocks of the schist. As you can see from the ceiling. You see that? What is that? It's like a geocache. Oh. That back there. Just peek around in this rubble a little bit. Yeah, it doesn't really go anywhere. It's barely 10 feet long. I don't think I put a light in this thing last time we were here. Looks pretty cool from that angle though, huh? And there it is from the trail. That side looks weathered, like a natural kind of weathering. One of my thoughts was maybe they were using this as like a little quarry or something. Because right as you take a left and start coming up Furnace Run, which is this creek right here, there's a piece of an old dam going across the little stream valley. Maybe sections of this right here were like kind of a quarry, like a quick and dirty quarry. They blasted some stuff out maybe, or maybe just dragged pieces out of there, put it on a cart, hoofed it down there, and that's where they built the dam. I mean, it would make sense. It's right there. It's very close. And the Mason-Dixon keeps heading up Furnace Run. I thought there might be some really big outcrops that I didn't hit when I was here before. Relatively close to the confluence there between Furnace and Sawmill. But I'm really not seeing anything. So let's head back to the Sawmill Run cave and eat lunch. I think I've worked up an appetite. I know I'm thirsty. One of the issues we face in trying to locate new and substantial metabasalt washout caves, like Pretty Boy Cave. If you don't know what that is, I'll leave a link up right now. That's kind of like the gold standard as far as I'm concerned. Before I found out about that cave, I didn't really think that these schist washout caves were really could ever get to that size. But one of the things that makes it difficult is that any cave of that size that's close to a well-traveled area, like it is down there on the Little Gunpowder, right? That cave is actually in Maryland. In any well-traveled area, something that is that obvious and it's right off the trail, boom, there it is, it's already going to be known. So if we stand any kind of chance of making a discovery of a cave like that, we're basically going to have to stumble upon it while checking the outcrops, and the entrance is going to have to be pretty well obscured. At Pretty Boy Cave, if you were to pile up rocks and kind of cover it up, over the years leaves would fall in, you start to get plants, right? And you would start to obscure that entrance. So we would need to find something where the entrance is very obscured, which of course makes it hard for us and hard for anybody, but that's the only thing that would really keep it unknown. And in situations like this where you have a lot of little outcrops and cliffs, I mean, you literally have to go and check every single one, which is impossible. I mean, let's be honest, it's impossible. So it's a combination of looking at a lot of holes, a lot of cracks, a lot of cliffs, and also just dumb luck. Now, obviously you increase your chances when you're out there looking at every nook and cranny. But at the end of the day, an obscure entrance is an obscure entrance. And it could be as small as like a little hole the size of a softball, peeking into a larger void. And that's an easy thing to miss, you know? Even if you're kind of, you know, checking out a lot of holes along the way, as we do here. So you kind of have to try, but you also kind of have to get lucky, right? And isn't that kind of the way it is with success in general, right? You got to put the work in, but it never hurts to have a little bit of luck. Okay, there's the culvert. Let's head down to Sawmill Cave.